Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my Issue of the Week presentation. My name is Rick Kennedy, and I am the Democratic candidate for United States Representative in the 17th District here in Texas. Thanks, everyone, for joining in this evening or viewing later on if you couldn't join us in real time. Every couple of weeks, I do a poll on Twitter asking people what they want my Issue of the Week to be. And last Monday, I ran a poll, and for this week, the people chose the issue of gun violence, which unfortunately is back in the forefront of our thoughts after the shooting on Friday at Santa Fe High School. Gun violence, gun safety, gun rights are among the most polarizing issues we face today. Conversations on this topic almost immediately morph into arguments about the Second Amendment. With that in mind, I want to open my remarks by acknowledging the fact that the vast majority of gun owners are law-abiding and responsible citizens. They secure their weapons properly. They make sure they don't fall into the wrong hands. They use them as tools, maybe a rancher protecting his or her property from predators. They hunt and put food on the table. They enjoy target shooting, or owning a weapon gives them a sense of personal safety and security that they wouldn't have otherwise. Those of us who live in more urban areas have to remember that millions of Americans live in rural areas where law enforcement may be more than just a few minutes away. We all have a constitutional right to keep and bear arms, and this conversation is not about the Second Amendment. If we had 300 million guns in this country and nobody ever died of a gunshot wound, we wouldn't be talking about this. This conversation is and must be and must stay focused on saving American lives. Now, regardless of where you stand politically on this issue, if Columbine didn't make you angry, if Sandy Hook didn't make you angry, if Virginia Tech and San Bernardino and Orlando and Las Vegas and Parklands and now Santa Fe didn't make you angry, if the thought of students in their classrooms, colleagues in their workplaces, concert goers, club goers, sporting event attendees, any of our fellow Americans being gunned down for no other reason than being in the wrong place at the wrong time doesn't make you angry, and I mean blood boiling, enough is enough, something must be done about this angry, then you need to re-examine your priorities and realign your moral compass. And mass shootings are only the tip of the iceberg. They are the high visibility, high publicity events that briefly dominate the news cycle and then are pushed aside by the next big story. The majority of this American carnage doesn't make it to the front page. Now, I know the overwhelming majority of us feel that anger and frustration, that need to do something about this. And it's that shared anger and that shared need to do something about it that we can use to overcome our polarization and find that common ground from which we can begin to work from. We collectively express that need to do something through millions of phone calls, tweets, and posts to our senators and representatives calling for action. And of course, opinion polls. I'll only throw one poll number at you. A recent Fox News poll revealed 91% of Americans favored universal background checks. There are a lot of numbers and statistics out there on this issue, and I won't detail them here, but it's safe to say that an overwhelming majority of Americans want action. But there's no issue for which Congress has been more derelict in its duty to the American people, more dismissive of the loss of American lives, and more contemptuous of the will of the American voters than this issue. A certain now disgraced broadcaster, Fox News broadcaster, wrote a blog after the Las Vegas shooting implying that America is so polarized on this issue that we'll never make progress, and that a crazed man strafing concertgoers with what amounted to automatic weapons fire is the price of freedom. I don't buy that, and I hope you don't buy it either. World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, those are the price of freedom. Regardless of what you think about the policy decisions that brought us into those wars, Americans fighting external threats to our security is the price of freedom. Americans gunning other Americans down is the price of inaction and failure of leadership. That's not the America that I believe in, and it's not the America that I want our kids to grow up in. Now, I've been a competitive athlete in some way, shape, or form for most of my adult life, and I know that if you don't set goals, you'll never achieve anything. And so, as your congressman, I will do exactly that. At both of my Town Hall for Lives events, I stated my goal to reduce gun violence in this country by 2/3 over the next decade. And I'll say it again tonight. That's my goal. If elected, I will work to reduce gun violence in this country by 2/3 over the next 10 years. I can't promise we'll achieve that goal, of course, And I'll be the first to admit I don't have any ready solutions at hand. But I do have faith that this country, once we agree on the problem we're trying to solve, has the resources and the determination to do anything that we collectively set our minds to. Now, as I said, I don't have ready answers, but I do have what I think are first step measures that we should take. And that, first of all, is to pass some of the common sense measures like universal background checks that are already under consideration in Congress, as well as to fund the CDC to resume research on gun violence so that we can get the information that we need to make informed policy decisions for the long run. Now, if we achieve that goal, if we can reduce gun violence in this country by 2/3 over the next 10 years, we'll save over 100,000 American lives. Now, let's think about that number, 100,000 lives. That's a little over 3/4 of the population of the entire city of Waco. Now, we'll never know specifically who these people are, but out of that 100,000, there could emerge a future president or a Nobel laureate or the next greatest of all time quarterback or a medical researcher whose team finds the cure for Alzheimer's or ALS. Or maybe it'll just be 100,000 hardworking, tax-paying, loving family members, friends, and neighbors. Either way, we win. Now, I'm not foolish. I know we'll never be 100% unified on any issue, but I believe the overwhelming majority of us want progress on this issue, and they want progress now. So folks, if you want change, you have to vote for it. If this issue is important to you, you have to bring it with you to the polls in November and vote for candidates like me who are willing to take it on and are dedicated to reducing gun violence in this country. So thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. I'll be on Twitter at RickKennedyTX17 and Facebook at Rick Kennedy for Congress on this topic throughout the rest of the week. You can contribute to our campaign online at www.rickkennedyforcongress.com and hit the donate button. And remember, I'm asking 5,000 Democratic primary voters here in Central Texas to invest $20 apiece by the end of May. It's a short-term, very aggressive goal so we can get to that $100,000 threshold that we need to launch this thing in earnest. Thanks again for your time, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Again, I'll be tweeting and posting on Facebook about this issue all week, and I hope you have a great Sunday evening. Take care, everybody.